Detroit didn't through and through. We're back, Stephen Will, ready to talk that Detroit Lions football. But before we get going, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. And don't forget the bell icon so you don't miss any of our new content. Steve, what are we talking to him about today?
We're going to talk about some weapons on this offense. I feel like a lot of this offseason, the draft, OTAs, rookie minicamp, we've been hammering defense.
We already talked about weapons, though. We talked about, like, Amon-Ra St. Brown, J-Mo. Like we already talked about.
We're going to talk some weapons that you're like, oh, shit, yeah, I forgot about him. How about a guy like Kalif Raymond? Yeah. How do you feel about Leaf, as they call him?
Man, so I already felt pretty good about him. But I don't know if you've seen in a press conference where Jared Goff was talking about Kalif Raymond, and he said, if somebody's coming to the Detroit Lions and they asked him, who should I map my professional career after when it comes to just how I go about my business? And he said the first guy that comes to mind to him is Kalif Raymond. And he said that he just does everything right. He said the way that he is in the weight room, the way that he prepares for games, the way that he trains in the off season. He said he's a great teammate. He just went on and on and on and just saying that he does everything right. So starting there, man, I love him. Now, there's been he has those games to where people make the crazy decision to drop people off their fantasy team and pick them up. And I love that because I feel like Kalif Raymond shows up in moments where we need him the most. He shows up in the kick return game. He'll show up at receiver. He'll show up at running back or, jet motion or get a toss play from the receiver position and run the ball. He just does all of the things, man. So I love him. But I got to toss a question at you immediately. We did a show on this guy, and I hear a lot of people talking about this guy. And a lot of the times when it comes to the Detroit Lions, their player comp to him is Kalif Raymond, and that's Isaiah Williams. So do you think that Kalif Raymond is on the hot seat with Isaiah Williams in the Detroit Lions training camp and competing for a position? Is Kalif Raymond on that hot seat?
Can I share a story with you real quick, Win?
Absolutely. Talk to me.
Believe it or not, we were just talking a little bit ago about a comment that was made on our YouTube. Believe it or not, a long time ago, I was in pretty good shape, pretty good condition. Nothing about me today screams like athletic ability. Let's just get that out there. A podcaster's body, I admit it. Okay, but
right.
Back in the day, I used to do some kick returns, some wide receiver, some defensive back stuff. By no means a professional or even college level, but I'll never forget a time in high school. I was back on punt return, and I did not have a good internal clock in my head. And you know where I'm going with this. And I just absolutely got my bread buttered. Okay. I got absolutely laid out. So one thing that truly scares me in football, college football games is that punt return for that exact reason. I trust Kalif Raymond in that aspect 1,000%. I think he's one of the most underrated punt returners. Now he's not like a Devin Hester. I'm not trying to say anything like that. But he has that clock where he knows to call fair catch, or if I have a second, I can step left, step right, make a play.
Yeah.
And I've seen him do it a couple years ago against the Jets in a low-scoring game where we needed a play and no one was really making them. He took a punt return to the end zone. So anything he does on top of that is just a little bit extra. I've seen him make some plays in the passing game, the running game. I've seen him make some blocks. He carries himself like a professional, like you said. I have yet to see Isaiah Williams in person. The only thing I've seen him really do is some highlights from Illinois. Hendon Hooker, Jack Campbell. There's like a handful of guys I'm really going to be paying attention to in training camp, and Isaiah Williams is on my list. I've seen a lot of people compare him to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I was like, whoa, easy, hit the brakes on that. We even talked about it.
Yeah.
But then when you turn the tape on, you're like, okay, maybe I do see a little bit like Amon-Ra St. Brown with how he catches the ball, how he just finds those soft spots and zones. The Yak King, I call him, because this guy catches and he takes off and he makes plays. So I do think Kalif Raymond has some competition. And Brad Holmes has used the word bloodbath when it comes to training camp and these battles. So I don't like the word hot seat because I think Kalif has that return game just locked down. So unless I see Isaiah Williams just coming in and making plays everywhere on the football field, I think Kalif Raymond's still okay.
I got to agree with you. I think Kalif Raymond is going to be on this team. But I tell you what, I would not want to be Brad Holmes.
Tough choice.
Man, I mean, you got spots that are pretty much locked up. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's going to be on this team. Obviously, J-Mo,
Think so? You think he makes it?
it's close. I mean, J-Mo, he's going to be on this team, man. Right. So then Donovan Peoples-Jones, he's probably going to be on this team, man. So I mean, what are we talking about? Or are we talking about Antoine Green, who people are high on? Right. We
Future
got.
Hall of Famer Tom Kennedy.
I was about to say Tom Kennedy still fighting in that locker room. Um, it's gonna get, then you're talking about Isaiah Williams. You're talking about, what's my man's name from the Saints? Is it Traquan?
Tre'Quan Smith.
Yeah, Traquan Smith in the mix. Fighting in there. It's you're not gonna be able to keep all of these guys, and it's gonna get tough, man. It's gonna get tough. Is there an opportunity for a newcomer to come in and take somebody's position? Man, I wouldn't, because I tell you this, and I haven't seen Isaiah Williams in a Detroit Lions. Well, I've seen him in a Detroit Lions practice jersey, but I haven't seen him on the field for the Detroit Lions yet. But I have a strong suspicion if he goes to the practice squad, somebody picks him up. He's not one of those guys that goes to the practice squad, hangs out for a bit, and then gets called up eventually. No, if he goes to the practice squad, somebody's going to be pulling him in, and he's going to go help somebody's club. So I just worry, man. Like, Brad Holmes, you got some tough decisions, because if Antoine Green, because they were talking about through camp, there was a couple articles that Tim Twentyman did where Antoine Green made a couple plays at camp, and he was looking pretty good. He looks better. So I don't know. Antoine Green, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Traquan Smith, Isaiah Williams, they're high on. Who we letting go, and we're going to watch him get picked up by somebody else.
It's tough. It is tough because we've said it before. I think you said it first. We're going to be cutting guys that go to other teams and they get significant playing time. Like, as great as it is to be with the Detroit Lions nowadays, being on the practice squad versus being on an active NFL roster is night and day. Like, I forget who it was last year we put on our practice squad. Starling Thomas, I think last year we put him on the practice squad, and he went out to Arizona and he got to play. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, okay, Arizona might not have been very good, but he was on an NFL field with NFL uniform instead of practice squad Monday through Saturday. Like, there is a difference. We're gonna be letting guys go that will get picked up, just like those scenarios. And we were kind of even in that scenario last year where, we had some secondary guys go down and we had to swoop up Kendall Vildor. Mm-hmm. And we know how that ended up. It wasn't great, but we were putting out guys from other teams' practice squads and putting them in starting spots. But, we've kind of shored that up with some depth. So, I mean, we don't really have to worry about that, hopefully. But these kind of things do happen where people just have too many, I don't know exactly what the Bears defensive back room looks like, but they were letting people go and we were picking them up and putting them on our team in the NFC Championship game. Like, this kind of stuff just happens.
You're not wrong.
You know who else? I think, and we have talked about him before, but just real quick, a little bit. I want to know what Sione Vaki is going to be doing on this offense.
Well, that immediately leads me to the question: is this Craig Reynolds in trouble again? You know what I mean?
When we talked about it in our last episode a couple weeks ago, I had kind of said, and I might not have worded it right, it doesn't really matter what you list Sione Vaki as on the depth chart, because he might not. You could list him as a linebacker. You could list him as a safety, a wide receiver, cornerback. You could list him as so many different things. It really just depends. And I had said the other day something about him playing fullback. I'm kind of leaning more toward like that wishbone offense where we have two true running backs back there. And Sione Vaki's got a great history, a great track record of playing receiver all the way from high school, a little bit at Utah. He's going to be a fun kid to watch in some gadget play. So when I say fullback, what I really mean is that second running back in the backfield.
Yeah.
Jahmyr Gibbs, Sione Vaki. It's going to be scary.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if that's something that Ben does, man. Will he do it, man? Will he pull the trigger on something like that? How's he going to use them? I was kind of tapering my expectations with Sione Vaki because I didn't want to get too excited. And like I said before, man, he does. I hate to keep acting like I'm throwing shade, but I got to put it out there. I wonder if he's going to be able to create separation at the NFL level, right? But all of that said, when I think about Sione Vaki, I think about this. And guys, I talk about it all the time. When other players that are on the field practicing with people say that they're good, that is the stamp of approval for me. It even trumps what I see on film. So if I see something on film and I'm like, he doesn't really look like that, but then these guys get up here and they say, hey, such and such is this and that and the third, or I mean, they gave me a hard time, at practice or in a game. I'm like, okay, This guy has to have something. David Montgomery said that Sione Vaki was special.
Mm-hmm.
So when David Montgomery's saying somebody is special, I gotta take alert to that, and I'm super excited to see him actually get on the field. He didn't say what special meant, but he did say this, which I thought was also kind of telling. He said, "I feel like Jahmyr Gibbs offers something a little bit different. He feels like I offer something a little bit different, and I feel like Sione offers something a little bit different, man." So I think that he's even looking at him as a guy who is going to be a contributor on this team, which excites me. Ben, what are you going to do, man? We're begging you to get Jahmyr Gibbs in the passing game. We're now interested to see how you're going to use Sione Vaki. We're begging you to get J-Mo the deep ball and the ball in his hands, 5 to 7 times a game. I know Sam Laporta is going to want this thing back. Demo's going to want his, man. Do we have enough footballs in the city of Detroit, man, for this offense?
I might have to get a couple catches while I'm out there too. I show up on Sundays.
No,
P-Nate might
want another one.
Yeah, hit me on a fullback dive. I might be able to get you a yard, maybe. Could we possibly see Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, and Sione Vaki on the field at the same time? Maybe Jahmyr Gibbs at wide receiver and Vaki and Montgomery in the backfield. Like there's a lot of different things we could do.
I'm never gonna say never, but I don't know if we'll see all 3 of them. I think we could easily see 2 of them though.
And we could talk about Sione Vaki just as his special teams, because I'll tell you right now, I already know who the NFC quarterbacks are going to be in the Pro Bowl. It's going to be Jared Goff. We'll throw out maybe Jalen Hurts and Jack Fox, because he's going to have weapons now with Sione Vaki. William, I'm telling you right now. Those are going to be your NFC quarterbacks of the Pro Bowl. Jack Fox now has a viable weapon with Jalen Reeves-Maybin, Sione Vaki. Don't sleep on Jack Fox getting in the Pro Bowl as a quarterback. I'm just telling you right now.
I just hope when he makes his completion is to win a playoff game or to win a Super Bowl.
It could happen. So yeah, he wouldn't be in the Pro Bowl because we're going to be playing for the Super Bowl. So you are right in that aspect.
That's right.
But yeah, guys, like we said, just wanted to get on here, talk some offensive weapons. We talked some defensive guys. We've been hammering defense the last few weeks. Yeah. Let's not forget about this offense. That's kind of our bread and butter. That's what we know is going to carry this Detroit Lions team. How good this defense is going to really tell us how far we'll go. So leave some comments down below, hit that like button, stick around, subscribe. We'll be back later with another show.
Peace.